Welcome to the Silhouettes of Success podcast with your host, successful entrepreneur, broker, and business mentor, Amber Weitzer. Because success comes in all shapes, sizes, and styles, the Silhouettes of Success podcast is shining the light on industrious women with a collection of curated conversations of intentional inspiration designed to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, feed your soul, and gift you with actionable insights directly from inspirational, everyday women who've shown tenacity, grit, and grace, having taken on the challenges in their lives and business and won. Remarkable, down-to-earth, and relatable, Amber and her guests will share with you uplifting and extraordinary real-life success stories, motivational ideas that just might help spark something within you. With the deepest desire to serve you, help you grow so you can begin to shine the light that will illuminate your very own silhouette of success. So, let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success. Today we visit with an adventurous silhouette. She taught herself self-reliance skills that led to a university postgraduate education in criminal psychology and taught at college. 3 children later, she had given up academia to raise her children alone and off-grid in remote North Yorks, living in a green painted caravan in a 5-acre field with no heating, restroom, or running hot water. She and her kids lived very simply using what was around them. Hammill Page founded Wild Harvest around 16, maybe 17 years ago, making and selling wares and educational courses. She is a qualified adult ed tutor, permaculture designer, natural beekeeper, archery instructor, Blackbelt in Tae Kwon Do, survival medic trained, and so much more. So please help me welcome Tae. Tae, hello, and thank you for joining us.
Hello, and thank you. I'm still giggling at the term restroom in the caravan.
Well, so full disclosure for our audience, we connected and tried to do a recording, I would say really in the early pandemic. It's been quite some time. So I am over the moon, so tickled and happy that you have joined us today because I watch continuously all of the amazing things that you have going on, and to eke in some time again is just an honor. So thank you once again for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm having a bit of inside time at the moment, doing laptop work and updating the website and tech things because I do all the tech myself. So I'm having 3-week tech block.
Well, that's perfect. I'm glad it worked out. So let's just jump into this because you are just so amazing. Help our audience understand the early shapings of your silhouette of success by having you share a little bit about your background.
Yeah, certainly. Absolutely. So I had a very unusual upbringing. I was raised mostly by my grandfather, who I adored and who adored me in his own funny way. He was a soldier in the war, and then kind of given that up by the time I was born. And yeah, it was him and my father were raising me. Absentee kind of mother. I did go to see her occasionally on weekends. But yeah, it was me and the 2 Freds. They were both called Fred Junior and Fred Senior. So and my father, he was a bit of a hippie, but a scientist, kind of disillusioned with his work in the chemical industry. And my father was kind of classic old man, really, with his plant remedies. So yeah, strange upbringing. And obviously they didn't really know what to do with a little girl in the 70s.
Well, and that positioned you to have quite an exciting future with what you're doing now.
Yeah, well, I don't really have anything much to do with my dad anymore. I mean, we're still in touch kind of once every year or something, but I kind of carved my own way, really, as was expected. I had my children, and as they got a bit older, it gave me more and more time to work. So just built up the business around them. Self-employment, when you are a single mum, self-employment is one of the things that kind of does work, really. So year on year, I've kind of built the business up. So now we've got 2 TP sites, an online school, and yeah, all about upskilling you with self-sufficiency skills.
Well, that's fantastic. So, to help our audience understand the dynamics of the amazing things that you do and have, like you said, carved a life for yourself and your family, let's say, what does a day in the life for Di look like?
Oh, every day is different, and that's one of the benefits of being self-employed, isn't it? That you can structure your day yourself. But Monday to Friday, it's usually kind of tech stuff, sorting out resources ready for teaching. So I mostly teach on weekends. So through the week, I'm doing kind of emailing customers, ordering or kind of sorting out resources, cleaning the two TP sites. Weekends, it's mostly teaching. So yeah, I don't really leave the farms much.
I know you are just always always doing something. Always. I just love watching. So talk a little bit about the courses or the offerings that you have because again, we will be sharing all of the links and your contact information so the audience can find you, but talk a little bit about the tie-in of your abilities to be self-reliant with what you're also offering to us as the general public.
Well, our mission at Wild Harvest School is to empower you to provide for yourselves and your families just using the natural resources around you. So, within that, we'll kind of take you foraging for a willow from a hedge, make a basket with it, then take the basket foraging to gather plants for food, for toiletries, for medicines. There's so much out there. Mother Nature does provide everything we need just on our doorstep. So within that, we're not into imports. Every like in the way that we've got plants, we've got minerals, we've got oils and fats, everything that we need for even the kind of candle making, toiletries, medicines, and food is right here. And kind of my mission is to connect women to those natural resources, and in doing so, it kind of just gives you a little bit of a feeling of self-reliance, which is, when you think about it, self-reliance is the ability to kind of be independent from external resources. We're a very kind of dependent culture, aren't we, these days? And especially, I think, for women, it's nice to have a few skills up your sleeve that can kind of make you independent. My customer base is women, Amber.
That is fantastic. And I agree with you, as I would suspect many of our audience listeners would agree too, that especially, you're right, in this time, which is another reason I was excited to reconnect and just get your thoughts on, do you see with what's going on right now in our current world environment, I guess, do you have an uptick in customers or more people reaching out to you to get educated or relearn more self-reliance skills? Are you seeing more an increase in your business?
Well, because I've done this for 17 years, I've definitely seen trends in the market. But to be honest, all my courses were full. All my walks and courses were full before the pandemic. But the minute that lockdown was announced, I literally couldn't keep up. Every time I released a course, it would fail. I'd have to release another one. So definitely, even though there was already an emerging interest in this kind of stuff, I think it's in our DNA, and it was coming out. People have spent too long now on computers and things, so it was coming out anyway. And the pandemic has kind of kicked kicked it a bit, so that people are like, yeah, we definitely need to know this stuff now.
Yes, there's a craving for that, a hunger for getting, I guess, back to our roots.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm a strong believer it's in our DNA, and that we've been removed from that for so long that it's just kind of the last the last strands that are kind of saying, don't forget us totally, don't forget these skills forever. So yeah, everybody seems to have that little part of them that wants to get outside, wants to make things and do things.
Yes, agree with you. There is a craving for that. Thinking about what you have, and again, just so help me clarify, but when we connected the first time, you had the one teepee site, and now you have a second.
Yes,
Is
and I
that
also
true?
I work with other glamping
Yeah.
sites as well to get them customers. But our niche for the TP sites is it's to give people a back to basics experience of living off grid, cooking and eating around fire with loved ones, and they always have to take our activities. So it's not just about the accommodation; it's that they go away having lived off grid and by fire, and learn some new skills. Because that's what we're about. We're fundamentally sustainable education, just kind of embedded in glamping, really.
Just such a blessing that you're doing that for everybody. Thinking about how you are giving that contribution, if you will, to us, the world or society in the way that you're able to. What do you think for yourself to be able to make all of this happen? Have you made any positive adjustments in your life or environment to help support you in the demand of all of these things that you're doing for us? What have you maybe changed? Because a lot of times our audience comes to us to get inspired or motivated or have something that another silhouette of success was able to suggest that might help them refocus some
Oh,
energy on their goals to achieve.
I think the fundamental thing is effort. Nothing happens without effort. I don't believe in
Mm.
manifesting. I never sat here and manifest it all. I worked very, very hard with 18-hour days, 7 days a week, and I learned everything I could to do as much as I can in-house. When you try to contract things out, I think sometimes it ends up being more hard work than if you just learn those skills and do it in-house. I did carry the business financially for a long time, and I could only do that because I was looking after two granddads and raising my kids. So I was getting a little tiny bit of care money whilst, for looking after my two granddads. And I built the business up on the side, kind of just basically carrying it. And then it got to what you call the word, like a pivot point where suddenly it was viable. But yeah, hard work and
Yeah.
yeah, hard work and poverty, I'm afraid to say.
Well,
But
I think that's
finally,
fantastic.
it is.
Yes.
It was rewarded eventually, thankfully.
You just took my breath away with that, because I don't know that I've heard anybody say it in that context. The effort, the hard work, and the poverty, and really scraping by to make something, to build and create something. So many other times, maybe there's seed money, or we aren't able to remember that it really did come from nothing. You get to a
Yes.
point, and I think sometimes people forget of how
Well, a
you
lot of
really got
people.
there, or people
Something that
looking in.
offends me a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that I find a bit offensive as well, Amber, is people kind of look at my lifestyle in inverted commas now, my work and the TP sites, and they're like, "Oh, you're so lucky." I think I'm not lucky. This isn't luck. I could have given up a long time ago, but I really believed in this offering. I really believed that women need the opportunity to be connected with these traditional skills. So I kind of carried that belief through it all. And then thankfully, Mother Nature decided to reward me for it by being fully booked. But yeah, I think it was the belief that in the need for this thing.
Fabulous, fabulous. Thinking through or reflecting back, and it could have been recent, it could have been eons ago. Was there ever a specific point, event, or key situation along your journey that really forced you to shift your business plan or your whatever goals you were working on? And if there was an event like that, did it help you grow, positive or painful? What were the results of that decision to
That
change?
Yeah, that's a fantastic kind of thought-provoking question, actually. There've been two key points. One was where I was operating the school here, and we just popped some TPs up to have residential courses because people were literally camping in my garden. So I thought I need to provide some decent accommodation. So I put the 3 pop-up TPs, and my neighbours instantly complained to the council. And at that point, I thought I was going to have to shut the whole school down. And it was really a heartbreaking moment. I think I was about 12 years in at that point. And yeah, we got forced through planning. But it turned out that the planners absolutely loved us. And what the neighbours inadvertently did, because once I got planning permission, I was like, hey, I can be manifest. I can really push this out now. Put a big sign up on the outside the farm and everything. So they kind of, by trying to pull me down, they actually made Wild Harvest stronger, by being able to be manifest. But then the year after that, I was about to lose the farm because the farmer's got his own, I just rent the farms. And he's got his own agenda for what he wants to do here. And he basically asked, it was like, right, I'm going to do this building work now. So I tried to take Wild Harvest on the road without the accommodation. I thought, oh gosh, I've got to kind of reinvent it again because I've got so based on the accommodation. So we started creating these like women's hiking holidays where we would walk. The idea was going to be we would walk the moors, learn all the time while we were walking. So, we'd stop and do a bit of archery here or foraging there and wild swim here. And then we would stop at a different bed and breakfast every night and do the crafts. So it was all booked, and then the pandemic hit. So, and during the pandemic, my
Oh,
landlord changed his mind and said, "Right, I'll give you. You've got another. You can carry on." So yeah, there were two times when my business had to massively eat. It felt very vulnerable and it's always to do with other people, sadly, and it's out of your control. You've always got to expect these things can happen and just try and make yourself as future proof as possible. But yeah, it's scary.
future proof yourself as much as possible. I mean, I think that's just strong words of advice right there.
Well, that's why we ended up with a second TP site, to be honest, because I realised how vulnerable I was having my whole business model based on somebody else's land. So even though he then gave me permission to carry on or to kind of restart back up again, I thought, no, always have plan B, ladies. Always have plan B. So I thought, I need a second TP site.
So again, yes, you had many, many lessons within that. Oh, wow. So thinking back as well, or even right now, again, as a independent, and I put the word female in there, but as an independent business owner, where do you turn to for support?
Yeah, I've heard the term solo fempreneur or something recently. I had to pause to work that one out, but I think it
Oh,
was
that's
solo.
cool.
Yeah. It kind of throws a whole lot of identities into one hard to say phrase, doesn't it? Well, part of the whole thing about the self-reliance thing is I didn't really have anybody I could go to growing up, and nothing's changed that much now, really. Everything is done in-house, in my own head and in my own heart. And yeah, I just kind of have to work through it, really. But that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, so I know I'll never let me down. So
There you
it's said,
go. And
yeah, it's said with total humor because I am totally accepting. I am totally accepting that I am a one woman ship. Really, I have staff. Don't get me wrong, and my staff are fantastic, but it is all on my head, and that's just how it is. That's fine.
I like that. I like that. And two, you are around so many different women and people really with your business. So I'm sure you also probably get little nodes of encouragement from your guests and your customers from time to time.
Oh, absolutely. My customers, they're like family. I have so much respect and adoration for my customers, and they make my work so wonderful. Spending a day with them, even though I'm working hard, running about, and teaching, I just come away buzzing because they're just such nice people. People that want to learn this stuff. They're genuinely interesting and nice people anyway. So I love spending time with my customers. Yeah, to the point where it's kind of my social life is my work.
And that's pretty fulfilling though too. So that's a great group to be with. When do you get to, I know you mentioned earlier you've got some downtime to do some of your works and behind the scenes and the technology, but how do you recharge and reset yourself and your mindset after maybe emotionally exhausting situations or days? What are some tips that you would share with our audience? What do you do to reset yourself?
I love exercise. These days, I don't get that much time for it, but a solo hike is the perfect way to recharge. I also find martial arts is like active meditation. You have no choice but to kind of move out of your own head because you're that kind of focused on your next move. So I find any kind of exercise on the whole, biking, martial arts, especially solo hiking. I think solo hiking as well, it gives you the opportunity to kind of get a bit of insight while you're out walking and connect with nature and get everything into perspective. It's like being in an office with big windows where you, instead of being in your life, you kind of outside it looking in, and it just helps you get perspective, I think, when you're out hiking. But exercise, yeah, basically.
Oh, so great. And you are in a beautiful environment to do that as well. Do you have to go a distance or where do you go to hike then?
I can walk very easily from out of the house here, but York is very, very flat compared to the moors where we used to live. So we are quite near the Yorkshire Wolds. So I would either just hike around the area here, flat woodlands, or I would have to drive, yeah, to the Yorkshire Wolds or the Yorkshire Moors. So not too far.
Well, that's good. That's good. Nature at your doorstep.
Yeah.
So we talked before, yes, about something I want you to be able to share with our audience is you published a book, Barefoot Self-Reliance. Talk a little bit about your book and the inspiration behind it.
Well, only half of my book has been published because I haven't been brave enough to put the biog part in it. But the how-to part is out there, and people have appreciated that. It's basically how to be more self-reliant naturally, the how-to part. So it kind of it gives all many skills, kind of living by fire, foraging, how to make sea salt, how to make salt from the sea, how to make a broomstick, permaculture gardening. So it's got kind of keeping poultry, how to kind of prepare a bird for eating, just all the self-reliance skills, because my research was quite enlightening actually as to how when they've looked at women and the skills that they have today and the skills that they've lost, we're actually de-skilling over the years. And it's not just women either. Men have been shown to be more likely to change a nappy than they are to change a car wheel. So we're just massively becoming unskilled. So my book was really just to kind of put people in touch with these kind of practical self-reliance skills again. And I've yet to kind of add the biog bit. I've got little bits in, but yeah, because there's some themes that, I'm not quite sure whether I want to put them out there yet. So
it's a journey to discover when we're ready to release certain things, isn't it?
I think so. And I think because I'm so customer facing, I think to kind of put a lot of the bits of the biog in there, it would just feel a little bit exposing. I might wait a bit longer.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And I do appreciate your sharing your research about the de-skilling, because I believe that. I feel that even for myself, when you sit there and look back at maybe what your, mothers, but even grandmothers and great grandmothers used to do just on the daily. And so I can see definitely how we have lost so much of that. So I would encourage our audience to go check out your book and participate and check out the courses that you have.
It's not women's fault today either, because we're under such pressure to keep roof over our heads, to raise the children and work, that we don't have the time to be able to keep the uptake of all of these skills. We kind of have to go for convenience simply because of the pressures of paying high rents and mortgages these days. So it is understandable. I'm not blaming anybody for this skill deficit at all. It's just the economics of life. But if people get the chance, it's definitely something, upskilling is something we should all be doing.
Agree with you. Wow, you said it so perfectly too, and articulated the environment and the social callings really of the changes. So that is amazing. All right, Tae. So what is next for you? What do you have on the horizon that you are looking to do next?
Oh my gosh, I can't sleep at night. I've got so many fun ideas. A pair of dungarees, Amber. I'm trying to design the perfect women's utility dungarees for the kind of my usual Wild Harvest customer is a woman, about my age, kind of coming up 50. She likes comfort but style. She wants some practical dungarees, and we can't get them anywhere. So I'm on a mission to design the perfect working utility dungarees for women. And also I've set up Wild Love Singles, which was was going to be a dating site for women who want to meet people into nature, partners that are into kind of nature and walking. But I found there's actually quite a lot of unethical stuff goes on with dating sites, and I'm not prepared to be unethical in my business ventures. So I've got to try and find, basically, right, they're populated by bots. I don't know if you know that, but a lot of dating sites, when you set them up, you get offered with a software to buy bot, which is like pretend people. And I wasn't willing to do that. So that's come to a halt until I can find a way around it. So that was one idea. I had the Off-Grid Survival Show, which was going to be a national show in England, education-based show to bring everybody together who was interested in downshifting and upskilling. So kind of trade stands, education. And it was looking to be really popular. And then the pandemic hit and I realized it's just not the right time to do a new show now. But yeah, I've always got new ideas. But taking Wild Harvest forward, into more online courses. I've got all my online courses now, and I would love to get them out to American ladies as well, to you guys in the US, because I kind of feel connected with a lot of people over there. I I didn't realize how beautiful it was until I've seen a few posts lately on some Facebook groups, and I'm like, wow, you've got so much potential going on over there. It's exciting.
Okay, so backing up a little bit and acknowledging what you've shared with your excitement of what you have idea-wise and goals. I mean, all of them sound fantastic. And with regards to your dating site, of course, we would expect nothing less than you saying, staying very ethical with that. So what a joy. And so definitely we will look forward to watching everything that you have on the horizon. So Tae, in respecting schedules and your time and evening there and lunchtime here, I definitely wanted to thank you. It has been a true pleasure visiting with you. And as we begin to wrap up, it is one of our promises here to share intentional inspiration with our audience. So would you happen to have a piece of key go-to advice that you'd like to share?
Yes, there's always 10% more inside you. However tired and broken you feel, there's always another 10%. So dig deep.
Oh, that's a great one. I have not heard that. So that is outstanding. All right. Excellent. Okay, milady. So the stage is yours. So where can our audience go to find and connect with you, support you on your socials, and continued success?
Oh, yeah, it's nice and easy actually to remember. It's wildharvest.org. So Wild Harvest, all one word, .org, and we've got kind of free downloads and information. There's a free sample of the book as well, so people can read part of the book for free. And there's other PDFs that are free if any particular interest you've got, like in rag rugging, in natural toiletries making. So yeah, the website is just a good resource of everything we do, really, including giving back to the people who visit in the form of free downloads. So yeah, wildharvest.org.
Excellent. And yes, the resources and her courses are just amazing and beautiful and very educational. So I have not looked at a thistle the same ever since I watched one of your videos.
Yeah, you can eat all
So,
sorts of thistle.
all right. Thank you, Tae. Once again, thank you for sharing your time and your silhouette of success with us. It has been a sincere pleasure.
Oh, thank you. And good luck with all your ventures too, Amber.
All right, my lady. Until next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Silhouettes of Success podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out and join us for all the new episodes. We are here for you and with you. We encourage you to share this podcast on all your socials and pass on the light to help illuminate another silhouette of success. Amber would love to hear from you, and you can find her on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, or head over to amberweitzer.com. Let's connect. Help us all shine and leave us a review too. To find out the latest ways to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, and gain actionable insights, subscribe at amberweitzer.com. We are honored, humbled, and full of joy that you've tuned in. Remember, you are exactly where you need to be, right here with us. This is the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success.